Good morning, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I hope you all are doing good. You can download this file from my Facebook page. Let's have a positive quote. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things, and only the wise can see them. This is a quote or a statement from a book, Alchemist, written by a very famous author, Paulo Coelho. With this, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams, and this is our own way to say happy Holi to all of you by providing you great Holi sales. They are on. Make sure you make the most out of it. Just check out StudyIQ.com to find out more about it. With this, the first article that we have in today's The Hindu newspaper, we have many articles, but this one is one of the most important one because it is about education. As I have told you earlier on as well, that you find questions in your mains examination pertaining to education every single year, and this one is about cutting down or making our syllabus bit more lean. This is not the word that our HRD minister is using, but here I am saying that because if we go through this logics or the points that are logical points that are provided, or the reasons that are provided by HRD ministry when it is talking about having this school syllabus, this HRD minister said that up to 50% of the things we can get rid of this 50% syllabus that we find in today's books. And the first reason that you find is syllabus being too weighty for kids. Now I can agree with this thing, because many times the things that you find in today's books, right, books that are read by these kids or that are part of your curriculum in your schools, they look like they are in competition with undergraduate arts and commerce degrees. The other thing is you hardly find time for extracurricular activities. Now, in today's world, extracurricular activities is not just about entertainment. It determines your success out there in real world. If you are good in sports, this will help you with your leadership skill and your fitness and your problem solving skills, pressure handling skills and things like that. Arts as well, right? Playing music, dancing, singing, everything, right? It keeps you happy and it makes you feel a bit more alive, and overall it helps you with your managing your life and your holistic growth and development and things like that. And this basically complements your professional as well as personal life. So extracurricular activities are very important for any child's development, and many times we feel this vacuum if we are not being provided with this platform of performing some or doing or trying our hands with some extracurricular activities. I'm sure many of you would be feeling this void, and many of you would be feeling very happy that you have got this platform. Anyways, then we have this information overload, right? It's stunting our children's all-round development. We need a more lean system, right? To the point things. And the main culprit here when we talk about our education system is this system of cramming. If you don't know what cramming is all about, then I'm sure you have done this thing at some point of time, because this is something very common with our education system. And why we have to stay up till, you can say, 5 a.m. in the morning, or you can say before we have the sleepless nights before our examination, right? And if you analyze this thing scientifically, then you find that this strategy is a strategy of failure. Because the thing is, first of all, if you are up till 4 a.m. or something on the day of your exam, then this itself indicates that your preparation is not good. You will be under immense pressure, right? And there are theories. You can try this thing practically as well. Under pressure, when you are under stress, it's not about healthy stress or healthy pressure. We are talking about unhealthy stress and unhealthy pressure here. So too much of pressure, if you know in the back of your head that you have not prepared the things as you should have prepared, then this will create pressure, and overall your performance will go down. I'm sure you all are aware about this thing. Now there are some things, and the biggest challenge that we find in today's education system is that it is very challenging for teachers as well to keep this fine balance between what to keep on the table and what to chuck in the bin. Like we have this theory of Darwin, right? Evolution theory. We are not talking about the debate that is going on and this answer and reply and articles that have been replied. We are not talking about those things said by this Satyapal Singh. Here the question is what to keep and what to leave. So it becomes very challenging. I believe you can understand this thing, right? For any teacher who is designing your syllabus, it becomes a bit difficult because you have to add new things as well. There are so many things taking place at present, right? This climate change, say for example. Now you have to introduce this thing to your kids. Then you have this cleanliness drive going on, malnutrition and other things. Compare today's books with earlier books. In earlier books, of course, balanced diet was considered a very important thing, but today you find this evidence of why or what are the things that are going on, or this side effects if you don't take a balanced diet. So this is the thing, right? This is the reason why we need all this new stuff as well as it becomes challenging to keep the older ones. The other thing is today we are living in a world that is driven by web, or in near future we are also going to see this artificial intelligence as well. So memorizing facts is something that is going to be out of fashion. It is already fading away. If you go through your notification, then as well you will find that more emphasis is given on understanding, and you see your questions, then you will find that it is not memorizing and mugging and this cramming. It is your understanding that will help you crack this important and national levels and other important competitive exams. And what we need today, as we were talking about this extracurricular activities, we need holistic development of our kids, of our future citizens, of our human resources and human capital, right? We need them to be what we desire, or what in fact the market wants from our kids, is that they should be able to conduct a bit of research, right? They should be problem solvers. They should be good team players. Of course, in future they are going to deal with robots and other things. So for that, all these human qualities that are important, right? The interpersonal skills are going to be the success mantra of future, and not your just sheer in a range of information, or you can say your IQ. With this, dear friends, we have one important editorial on e-way bill. Now let me throw some light on what this e-way bill is all about. Check here. The reason why it is introduced, or why we need it as per the government, is to track interstate movement of goods above the value of 50,000 rupees. Interstate. Anything that is above 50,000, if your truck is carrying goods worth of 50,000 or more, then you will have to create an e-bill, this e-way bill, and you have to do it on GST network. You type the things that are, it is basically a software, so you add all the details, and then this e-way bill will be generated. You hand over one copy to your truck driver, and one copy can be kept or transferred to this the person who is receiving your goods. And this can be done very easily in today's WhatsApp and Telegram and other items or other tools that we have. So transferring this thing or handing over is not a big issue at all. But the reason why you need it, because government does not want anyone to, you can say, bypass this GST system. The second important point regarding this e-way bill, and the reason why I'm mentioning this thing here is, of course, for your understanding, and the second thing is for your MCQs as well. So bills, this e-way bills will be generated for all goods traveling 10 kilometers from the point of origin. So if your factory is, say for example, here, and if you are sending something that is here, destination B, and if the distance between this, your A, your factory, and B is 11 kilometers, then you have to generate this e-way bill. So now you can understand that there are many loopholes that you can create, and practically it is not going to be possible for the government to keep an eye on each and every truck. Of course, they will do some random checking, and with the help of this random checking, they can create this sort of fear amongst these businessmen and transporters that they have to keep or carry an e-way bill. Now the thing is, when this thing was introduced back in February, there was a plan to start this whole thing on 1st of February, but what happened is the first 5 lakh or something, 5 lakh plus e-way bills were generated by different traders around the country, and this whole IT network, this e-way bill network, or this system crashed. So the government decided that they should pass this issue to this group of ministers. This GOM is already looking after all these technical issues that are pertaining or related with GST, and as per this GOM, it has recommended the government to roll out this e-way bill throughout our country on 1st of April. Now one more thing, when I say throughout our country, what they have asked is that some states can have you can say some states may require e-way bills for internal movement of goods, while others will not. So this is a big thing here. You can understand that this compliance is going to be a big headache, because in some states you will require it for internal movement for 10 kilometer plus. You will require it. In some states you won't require it. And if you are talking about this intrastate, say for example transferring your products, if just imagine if your factory is right at the border of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, then what you are going to do, if you have to cross this border, and if you have to, if one thing is produced here and then you have to send it to another factory which is across the border, then it is going to create this fresh compliance headache. So GST Council, which is the top decision making body when it comes to GST, is going to take a final decision on the launch of this e-way bill. But of course, because we have faced many issues with our GST rollout, we have reasonable, you can say, amount of experience when it comes to this technology issues and GST and failure of this GST network. So regarding this e-way bill, if we want you can say a smooth rollout of this e-way bill, then we have to you can say we have to brainstorm now. We have to find out ways through which we can avoid these headaches. And one of the reasons why the government, as I told you, that no, the government does not want anyone to bypass this GST. And the sad thing is, at present we have observed that traders, they have found a way out of this GST. They are skipping this GST, and this is very visible from the money that is coming in, or the monthly inflow of revenue. When GST was launched or rolled out at that point of time, for the first 3 months, somewhere around 90,000 crore rupees was received by government. But now we have seen a sort of a big fall in this amount. One of the reason is it's not always this bypassing by or avoiding this GST by the traders. One of the reason is this partly because of this large scale rationalization of taxes, many times government has reduced this slabs, or they have shifted these items from higher slabs to lower slabs, and this is naturally going to impact this inflow of money. But this trader skipping this thing is something that is real, and it is something which is very serious as well, because boosting compliance is going to be very critical. It is going to be one of the most important thing and one of the most crucial thing for the success of this GST and e-way bill. E-way bill can help, but for that we have to make it as smooth as possible. I hope things are clear. Now we have to wait and watch regarding this article that you find in today's The Hindu. This is about 50 years of TERLS. TERLS stands for this Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station, TERLS. This is India's first spaceport as well. So in this term, this TERLS is a very important place. And yesterday we were talking about, I gave you this question. I have gone through your comments, or rather than comments, I would rather call it your feedback or your opinion on what we need more. Do we need more people with scientific temper, or do we need people with you can say with spirituality? Here I remember the words of APJ Kalam, and APJ Kalam, I believe, is one of the best example that I can think of at present, who is a perfect mix, or you can say best of both. When it comes to APJ, he is best of both of this spiritual world as well as scientific temper. I'm sure you will agree with me, right? I can sense that you are shaking your head when I say APJ Kalam, because if you have read his book, this Wings of Fire, he has talked about this Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station as well. And a father of a church, right, he very happily gave away this piece of church land for the development of our Indian space program. So you can see this whole inception of our Indian space program. You have this perfect balance between scientific community and a spiritual world, and this is something that we need, right? These are the points that are hardly discussed by the media, right? As you know it very well now, you all are mature, living in this digital world. You have people throwing away their opinions, and you have to use your own logic and conscience when it comes to going through opinion. And I would rather reckon you guys, even the discussions that I do with you, you should always think or analyze the things that are said by me as well, right? You should logically analyze things, whether the things that I have said are right or wrong, whether you agree with it or not. I'm not saying that every time you have to come out and disagree and agree. I'm not asking for that thing. Of course, you can understand, and I'm not afraid of your disagreement as well. I must clarify this thing. But the thing is, your logic, your personal experiences, right, are the most important thing. Even if your answer is wrong, even if you are something that you are saying is not politically correct, but if you are logical and if you have analyzed and added your own experience, then that is going to be the real world in which you are living. So it is very important. At the same time, I'm sure as you will learn things, you will find out this impact of stereotype and prejudice. Many times we have this sort of stereotypes and prejudice which we are not aware about, but observing ourselves and trying to make ourselves better and better, right? And observing ourselves or keeping ourselves under this magnifying glass will help you. So anyways, that's sort of, you can say, a response as well regarding your answers. And I must appreciate your efforts. And I have gone through your answers. And I must say that, seriously, I'm not just buttering you guys. Seriously, I'm impressed. Thank you very much for responding. Now, let's go through this article. Sputnik 1. This was a rocket launched by Soviets, USSR, back in 1957. And this era, 57 era, reminds me of Cold War, right? A fierce competition going between USA and USSR. And at that point of time, the whole world was worried about this space, you can say, race, this rat race going on between this cutthroat competition going on between USA and USSR. And one was launching this rocket, and after that USA launched their rocket, and then again Soviet came with a heavier one and bit more advanced one, and then USA. So people around the world and the nations as well, United Nations in fact, was worried about this space risk of space weaponization. But we were saved by this Outer Space Treaty of 1967. And because of this treaty, this whole weaponization of this space was avoided. Now, Indian space program was born back in 1963 with this launch of Nike Apache sounding rockets from this Tumba. Now, why Tumba is very important here? The thing is, you find equatorial electrojet here, right? Equatorial electrojet. It's not jet, it is jet, electrojet. This is a spelling error, I guess. Right, so electrojet that is passing from here, and how it works here is that first of all, very basic thing, equatorial, this magnetic equatorial, right, is something that is passing from this Tumba, and it is not the same, this geographical equator of 0 degree, right? It is different. When we talk about magnetic equatorial, it is different from this geographical equator. So it is passing from Tumba, and say for example, this is the line from where this thing is passing, this ME is passing from. So if you draw a vertical line 110 kilometer above in the atmosphere, you have this equatorial electrojet, and scientists, right, they have, means it is always a matter of fascination for them regarding this this equatorial electro jet. So studying them becomes a bit easier when it is passing from when this ME is passing from your place. So Tumba in this way is naturally gifted with this ME and equatorial electrojet, and this is the reason why this whole Indian space program started here in Tumba. The first rocket was launched from this place, and this TERLS at that point of time was supported by United Nations, then NASA, and this departments of this space agencies of Russia and France and others, right? Other countries, they started, developed countries basically started supporting TERLS, and today we know where we stand, right? We are one of the best in the world. We are cheap. When I say cheap, I mean to say reasonably priced rocket missions or space missions are conducted by India, and this is our competitive advantage. We are using our space program for peaceful purpose for sure, right? And India's commitment to this peaceful use of outer space has been constant, right? We have never misused this thing. There are many things that you can do. We are not going into all those details, because the most important thing here is that we are using it for our common man, right? We are passing information regarding natural disasters, telemedicine, telecommunication, you know, this map surveys and crop surveys and soil health card, and improving the life of common man is one of the main mission, or at, you can say it is at core of our space mission. With this, dear friends, this one is about against human rights. Now the thing is, the rule of law has rightly been argued to be part of the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Rule of law basically means if you want to play the game, then you have to stick with the rules, and if you are not playing the games, then you cannot basically frame the rules. So what it means, what this article is trying to say is this encounters that are going on at present in Uttar Pradesh. It is very sad to find a democratic government is in this temple of democracy talking about or taking pride in this encounters that you do on criminals. Now, of course, when we talk about Nirbhaya Kand, for example, this Nirbhaya gang rape case, as a brother, as an Indian citizen, right, even my blood, right, it boils when I hear this sort of ghastly things taking place in our country on a lady or a girl. I strongly oppose this sort of criminals and crimes, but that does not mean that that we can kill them. The thing is, if we want to live, or if we want to make our country a bit more better, then we cannot break rules as per our convenience. And this encounters are something that are done to get a quick result. But what you are doing is you are making your government a bit more, you can say, heavy-handed, and this is basically against the structure of our constitution as well. We have judiciary. We have all this process. What we need is to improve our process. And if we go through this World Justice Project Index, then we find that India, at present, our rank is 62. Important for you to remember this thing. Denmark has topped the list, and here you have one more example. If you go to Denmark and if you find out things regarding Denmark, then Denmark is not using this heavy hand or iron fist, or you can say it is not using this path of encounter to keep its cities, or you can say its states clean from this crime. No, it's criminal justice system that is working effectively as well as efficiently. That is helping this Denmark to reach this. When it comes to this World Justice Project Index, it is ranking number 1. Our criminal justice system, if we compare it, then its rank is at 66, which is behind Nepal as well. And rule of law is fundamental principle of governance of any civilized liberal democracy. It is the antithesis of arbitrariness. But when we follow this path of encounter killings, then what we are doing is, in the name of law, we are basically doing this, or it is, you can say, anarchy in a more, you can say, better packet. Laws like MCOCA, this is of Maharashtra, are being designed by UP government, and these laws are basically promoting this rule by law. Remember here, it is not rule of law, it is rule by law. And rule by law is a thing that was practiced by, and it is practiced by, many dictators around the world. Hitler used to do this thing. If you are in the government, that does not mean that whatever you are doing is right. And if you want to sort out things for real, if you want to make a real change in the society, then what you can do is you can appoint more judges, right? You can digitize these courts. You can change all these laws that are resulting in frequent adjournments, right? Taking ages and ages for us to decide or to come to a conclusion. And when it comes to a case, police, we are talking about smart police, but see our limited view. Right, even the Home Minister, when he's talking about smart police, he's talking about technology. He's talking about we are going to provide drones and helicopters and things like that. I'm not against all these things. But the thing is, what about the soft skills? If your police officer or if a person who is supposed to protect you is misbehaving with you, if he is being rude to you rather than being polite and asking you what you are doing here, they will say, hey, what are you doing here? I know the tone and the language, the body language they use. They treat every citizen as criminal. We were talking about this colonial hangover yesterday. If you see and meet police from UK, then you will feel so impressed, right? They are so polite in their language, and they are assertive as well, and they can use all this force and everything, but they are not treating their citizens as subjects. Here we find that still this colonial hangover is here. And in UP at present, this police has assumed basically they are carrying two hats, or they are wearing two hats. They are switching these hats. At a time they behave like investigators, and they are the judges as well. They are using their bullets. It is not about fighting against crime. When it comes to self-defense, then we can understand, right? No one is stopping our police personnel from using force. Reasonable force is fine, but encounters are not going to solve any problem. So it is this qualitative difference when you use this force, and your training and your work culture, political interference, all these things, right? There are so many things that we have to change if we want to see ourselves a bit up in this ranking. And the sad thing is, if you observe, you can see the shade of how much importance we give. Observe a court, right? Observe a court, observe a police station, and observe an IT, income tax office. You will find that this one is going to be a bit better, because this office is going to generate revenue. And even today we consider courts and police stations as expenses rather than part of, or you can say, things that are necessary for the survival or for a happy existence of society. That's everything that we have got here. There are a couple of other articles, you can go through them. One is about language, too academic. That one is about language, but yes, it is a one-time read, so go through it. And with this, we have some news for you guys. Kanchi Pontiff Jayendra Saraswati is no more, and here you have one more example of spirituality being married to scientific temper. This leader here, Jayendra Saraswati, promoted or focused on setting up educational as well as healthcare institutions. There are many institutions in our country, many religious institutions, right? Islamic institutions, you have Catholic institutions. They are in fact promoting education, healthcare, scientific temper, at the same time spirituality. So this is something, there are many examples that proves that marriage between spirituality and scientific temper is possible. GDP targets will be achieved hopefully, because the third quarter, you can see here quarter 3 of between October to December, we have 4 quarters in total, starting from April and ending March 2019. And so here, what if March 2018, beg your pardon, not 2019. So March 2018 is going to be this. At present we are in the last quarter, and this quarter 3 clocked 7.3% GDP growth, which is the fastest in the year so far, which is good as well. So if we clock something above 7.2, maybe say for example 8 for quarter 4, then this is going to overall, you know, increase the rank of our, or not the rank, but this total growth of the rate of GDP, which is going to be beneficial for every one of us. With this, dear friends, you can see here, this is a very good example how simple tools and technologies, right, how they can change the life of people. We have talked, and this is a good example for you to think about. If we go back in the Stone Age, then we can understand at that point of time your muscle power and things were more important. And I believe that this is one of the reasons why men started dominating society. And now in today's world, right, all the things that are built, see this tool here, right, for climbing tree, this coconut tree is unisexual. Anyone can use it. You don't need strong muscles, right? Reasonably healthy if you are, then that's everything that is required. So this gap between dominance of men and women is going away, and technology is helping. Tools and technologies, right, they are helping us a lot. And here you can see with the help of this machine, a lady can climb a tree in good days, right? She can climb 50 trees and she get 100 rupees for one tree. So at the end of the day, she would be making what, 5,000 rupees, which is not bad at all. Coconut is a big business. Aircel files bankruptcy, and the board of directors, they are saying that it is because of this competition and disruption created by new players. It is a business thing, but I would like to drag your attention to this thing called corporate insolvency resolution process. What it is all about, it is not a process for liquidation. Liquidation basically means dissolving your company. No, it is for finding the best possible resolutions, keeping in mind the best interest of everyone. You find this editorial on Karthi Chidambaram, he is son of P. Chidambaram, former union minister, and this case is pertaining to this INX media bribery case. Now CBI is saying that this Karthi is involved in this bribery case. Karthi is saying that he is innocent. Anyways, we know these things are going to go on for a bit of time. But most important thing for us as a citizen, as well as civil service aspirants, for you guys, it is important to observe this thing from this point of view, whether CBI is behaving and operating independently or whether it is working as a tool of political vendetta. Don't form your judgment now, right? Wait for this case to come to a logical conclusion. Just observe. That's what I would ask you to do for now. India denies Canada's view on Atwal. Canada has said that this Atwal was injected or infiltrated by a rogue element in Indian establishment who wanted to jeopardize this relationship between India and Canada. India has clearly stated that we have not, or none of our official is rogue, and none of our official has done anything to infiltrate this Jaspal Atwal, who is a terrorist. With this, Hamid Karzai has said that Hamid Karzai and Ashraf Ghani, in fact, right? Hamid Karzai as well, earlier on, he said that there is no point of talking with this, and sometimes he said that yes, we should talk with Taliban. But now, let's see whether this government of Afghanistan is ready to have a chat with this Talibani people. We have to wait and watch for it, and you will find this whole timeline, the war that never ends, starting from 2001 till 2017, and some latest information is given here as well. So help yourself with this picture. With this, Saudi Arabia's crown prince has said that this anti-graft drive is a shock therapy, and without this, the kingdom could not meet budget targets. It has to stop this looting that is going on. Core sector, very important for our economy, you have 8 core sectors and they comprise 40.27% of our IIP index of industrial production. Core sector growth has accelerated to 6.7%, which is a good thing. With this, dear friends, a question for you guys. The question is, why no one has replied with this answer of this question? If you are finding it a bit difficult, I told you this is, of course, what you find. You find 10 +2 -2 question every year in your prelims. Prelim is not far. You should start preparing yourself with this type of questions. And one more thing, if you have not replied, then have you done your research? Have you found an answer for this one? If not, then you should think about it, right? What sort of psychology are we carrying, or what sort of preparation are we doing if we are filling, or if we are not taking this sort of questions, or if we are taking it very lightly? So I'm sorry to say, but I have to push you guys, because I have gone through your views regarding that question, regarding descriptive one, which is very good. But this one, if you have not done research, then you don't have to prove, but you have to ask yourself that it would have taken what, a couple of articles to go through, and you would have answer of this thing, and then you could have replied to this answer. But anyways, this question is still there for you to go through, and if I would be in your position, then I would definitely do a research and come with a good answer. Have 2 questions for you, go through it, and that's everything. Enjoy your Holi. I will let you know about tomorrow's lecture. I'm not sure whether Hindu is going to publish newspaper tomorrow, but do check out my Facebook page. I will keep you posted, right? I will basically post the final update whether lecture is coming tomorrow or not. Give me some time. By today evening, things will be clear. That's everything. I'll see you all soon. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.